Exciting Q&A, responding to pressure situations as we spoke about yesterday. So as I said, when we are presenting, we are in control. When we open up for questions, we lose control. Sometimes we could come under attack. There could be many motives for why we are under attack. Doesn't matter. It could be a media reporter. Could be unhappy union representative. Could be anything. Doesn't matter. You're in the media, you're not in the media. At any time, in any meeting, you could come under attack. For many of us, we go to an emotional reaction rather than being composed. The worst thing we can do is lose our temper, get into an argument. Despite the fact you're under attack, despite the fact that you may be on the defensive from some question, that does not stop you from going on the offensive in the sense of trying to get out some positive messages. Just because they're hitting you with some negativity doesn't mean you only have to deal with the negativity. You can also deliver some clear, positive messages as well. You see, politicians do this all the time. They have one or two things they want to say. It doesn't matter what you ask them, they say those things anyway. They've perfected the technique of getting out their messages. We don't have to be that extreme, but we still can benefit from doing that. So we want to sell some ideas about our organisation as we're getting these questions, particularly hostile questions. And look confident, be competent, and no matter how stressful it gets, we are calm. Because we know I have everything under control. Because I know what to do. When we don't know what to do, our stress level goes up, our emotions kick in, and things start to run off the road. So if we know what we're doing, life gets easier. So here's a very simple formula. Now you might think, listen. Well, that's obvious. Well, it's a little bit subtler than that. What we talk about here, we say listen first, is actually listen. Now, say Yuksan wants something from me. Maybe he wants to start at 7 o'clock in the morning and go home at 4. And I give him a negative response. Often the why of my negative response will come at the end. But as soon as he hears no, his brain starts to go into why it should be yes. So we're not listening to what the person's saying. We tune that part out because we're thinking about what we want to say. We all do it. So when we say listen, it means don't go into answer mode yet. Don't cut them off at the end. Let them finish. Let them exhaust themselves. That's always a good point because they'll give you more information. So don't be in a hurry to answer. Let them go. Let them go. Often they'll give you information which weakens their argument. So actually really listen. Now, both of these can work. You can either paraphrase it and add a cushion or one of the other. We know what a paraphrase is because we practiced it yesterday. Now a cushion is a new item here, but it's very, very simple. It has the same objective. Buy time before we respond. If I hit you with something, your first response, boom, may not be your most considered and best response. It might be your most emotional response. So we try and stop that. Don't let that come out. We buy ourselves some thinking time. A cushion is some simple statement I make which does not add to the tension in the room, because it doesn't really disagree or particularly agree one way or the other. It's very neutral. So, for example, if I use that one I gave yesterday, is it true that 10% of the staff are going to get the chop this month? Because I read in the newspaper today that 30,000 people around the world are losing their jobs. So, of course, I don't repeat the question. Here's the question, or the question was, are 10% of the organization? Don't say that. You might not want to paraphrase it either. You might want to say, well, it is important that we have a discussion about this issue. It doesn't offend anyone. It's a very neutral statement. It is important we have a discussion about this issue. Gives you 3 or 4 seconds of thinking time. And that's all you need, because you've been listening, you know the negativity, you know the problem. You're relaxed because you know you're going to have time to think about this. So you think about it, get your answer ready, then you respond. Now we can listen at around about 500-600 words a minute. If we played something at that speed, you could actually probably catch most of it. So our hearing capacity is huge. Our speaking speed, 150, 200 words a minute. Massive gap between the two. So as you're hearing, you are tempted to speak too soon, because your brain goes, I know where this is going, I'm going to hit them with my answer. Stop that. Hold it. Then I'm going to think of a cushion. That's what you think about. What's going to be my cushion? That's all you think about. Then in that seconds that you, 3, 4, 5 seconds, you take your cushion. Then you decide which of the responses you've actually been subconsciously thinking about you're going to use. So it works very easily when you do it. You'll find it when you practice it. Then you bridge into who has the next question. Okay? And you escape nicely. Okay? You escape very nicely. So posture is very important. If I get a question from Kaz and it's like, maybe I'm sending a message here, you know? If I get a tough question from Kaz and I'm a bit like, it sends a different type of message. Hold your ground. Don't move. Look at the person. Don't nod. Don't nod. Don't nod because it looks like you're agreeing with them. Especially if you're on camera and it's a media interview, never nod to the question. And it's all bad news. They take 2 seconds of that and they got the question and you going, it looks like you agree with their negative question. Don't nod. Don't move. Just look at the person and don't show any indication either way that you agree or disagree. Just hold it. Very critical. Poker face. While you're hearing all this, you're thinking, I've got my 2 positive messages I want to get out. Okay, I'm going to answer the question and hit with 2 positive messages. Make your hands comfortable. What that means is, don't fold your hands, don't be like this, don't be like this. Just relax, like we've been training. Forget about your hands. Just look at it. Because we've all got iPad now, right? So we can look at it. We can stare at it. In this case, don't worry about it. It's more than 6 seconds. They are not on your side, you know. This is not a friend. So you can look at them and just look at them with no particular expression on your face, but just look at them. And you're now very comfortable to do that for a minute. See how comfortable they are on the receiving end for a minute. Okay? Keep your eyes on the questioner. Now, try and keep your answers concise. Answer it, but keep it concise. Don't add more than you need to. That's where we always get ourselves into trouble. So you just add that extra little comment, and then another fire erupts from something additional you said. Answer the question. You are not obliged to give them a full, all-encompassing answer. You're obliged to give them an answer. So make it to the point and get into 2 key messages. Who has the next question? That's how you control it. So, thoughtfully and properly. It doesn't say thoroughly every facet of what they say, but thoughtfully and properly keep it under control. Oh, not that one. Too far. Okay. So in the manuals, we are on page 50. You see that it's asking for 2 positive messages. So now, for this exercise today, you wrote questions for yourself. Okay? And you will get questions. Now, I changed some of the questions. Those pussycat questions, out the window. Put the tiger questions back in. You are going to be using these questions later today too, when we do the final session with questions. It won't matter that the question has got no relationship with the subject on which you are speaking for this exercise. Because in real life, you will ask for questions, and some lunatic, right, psycho axe murderer, will come up with some bizarre question, which is so off subject it's unbelievable, but you can't control that. You can't predict what the earth are going to ask you. So you don't worry about it. The question's right off topic. Don't worry about it. We go through, listen, paraphrase or cushion, think of what we're going to say, have the 2 positive messages ready, answer it, 2 positive messages, next question, and we move on. We have that pattern all the time. All right? So don't worry about relevancy of the question. Yes?
If you get into something, in this case I understand just the exercise, but if you are getting a question that is negative, it's an extremely negative way, but as is at its core something that maybe need to be discussed in that forum, is it still a mistake to engage that person by asking for clarification of their question?
No, not at all. Not at all. This is great thinking time. First, I'm not quite following 100%. Could you just give it to me again, please? You probably got it perfect, or almost perfect. By asking them to repeat it, you put the pressure off you, because now everyone's looking at Bruce, not you, and you can relax. This is the old trick with translation, right? The Japanese business people, they all speak perfect English, but they want the translator, not for the translation, but so they get some thinking time. Classic business tactic, right? Same thing. You can push the question back to give yourself more thinking time. That's also a tactic. It's a tactic. Can't even do it once though. Start doing that every time people go, hang on a minute. That's a tactic! I see that one, I gotcha! Right? So you better just use it occasionally, but cushion instead, give yourself something.
So don't make it a dialogue, make it a tactic.
Well, it depends on the situation. If it's a presentation, that person is going to suck all the air out of the room all the time. And everyone else is going to get no time. So you might want to share it around a little bit, let that person speak, answer them, shut them down, give somebody else a turn. If no one else is asking, then you can probably go back and pick it up. Which really depends on the situation and what you want to do. If it's a really hostile question, I don't want to go back there. I want to shut it down and move on. I don't want to linger. So, and again, don't worry about what the question is for your 2 positive messages. Come up with 2 positive messages, because I'm going to use that as the exercise today. But anytime you're going to be in a situation where you're getting Q&A, have 2 positive messages about your organisation ready. Ready to inject them into the conversation. Okay? Because by default, the hostile question is attacking your organisation and you. It's no good talking about yourself. It sounds too egotistical. So have neutral ground is your company and positive message about the company. You represent the company, you promote the company. Don't promote yourself, promote the company. It's more natural and more logical to do that. So again, think of if I ask about Danone, what are 2 positive messages about your company that you do? If I ask about Apple, what are 2 positive things that you do? If I ask about St. Mary's, what are 2 positive things that you do, etc. So, Disney, etc. New Sun Hotel, whatever it is, British Embassy, what are 2 positive messages about your organisation that you can put into the conversation in the last part of your answer that promotes something good that you're doing, right? Don't say, well, St Mary's has a beautiful building, recently constructed. Who cares? Say something that's got a bit more depth about it. We are changing the face of international education in Japan. And we are proud to be the front runners for boys' education, because we do make a difference. That's it. Don't need to say more. Package it up. Boom! You put it, because you're finishing with a nice taste in your mouth and in your audience's mouth about something that's good. Because all you've been getting is negativity in the question. Flip it. Let's have something positive now to finish with. Last recollection, last impression, positive, 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 not arrows, negative, negative, negative coming this way. Then, bang, out you go. With something positive to finish it on. So 2 positive messages about your organisation. Doesn't matter what the subject is, right? You prepare 2 positive messages so you can put them out. About something your organisation does that is good for the world, good for Japan, good for society, good for community, something in that vein. Any questions? We all good on that? Think about 2 positive messages, go. I imagine you finished your presentation. You finished your presentation. We have 5 minutes for questions. Who has the first question? Someone will have your name and a nasty question on the card. They will put their hand up. You will ask them for the question. You will then listen, cushion, okay? Respond. Add your 2 positive messages. Who has the next question? Take the question. Cushion. Respond. Put in your 2 messages. Like that, okay? We'll only probably get to do a couple. Got the idea? Now, those who are asking the question, don't ask a mean, nasty question like this. Is it really true that you are hopeless and cannot do your job? Right? Ask it like you are serious. Are you kidding me? You are just so disorganised. This presentation was a shambles. You're an embarrassment to the company. You shouldn't even be up there. Say it like that, with a bit of energy, right? So it's real. Because what you want is to, in this laboratory, in this safe environment, you want to get hammered with tough questions by tough people. You want the questions to be really tough, delivered in a really mean, nasty, tough way, so that you can get the feeling in a safe environment what that's like, and be able to. What you don't want is to be out of here in real life, get hit with a really hard, nasty question and go, oh God, I don't know what to say. I can't take that sort of pressure. You'll get enough pressure here to build up your pressure capacity to handle those situations. Okay? We all good? So, those who are asking questions, be cooperative, be mean. That's how you can help them, right? Be really, really mean the way you ask it. The question itself is mean enough, but the way you ask it should also be very realistic. If it's a hostile audience, they don't like you, the speaker. You are their target. They are going to get you with their question, because it's not really a question. It's a missile disguised as a question. Got the idea? That's the atmosphere we're in. Just finished. 5 minutes for questions. Where's the first question? Boom, boom. Where we go? Before we start, any final questions? Good. Yes?
We don't have to paraphrase the question, right? Because these are mean.
These are mean, nasty questions. I would just cushion them. I wouldn't worry about paraphrasing. I'd just go straight into cushion. All right. So, ignoring the questioner and addressing the whole room, you're hoping the audience is going to hate that question for being so mean. Because every single person in the room would think, wow, that was a bit too much. That was a bit too personal. That wasn't very professional. And so when you handle it well, you look fantastic and they look this big. But if you give them a lot of attention, you make them look big and make you look small. Go and have a look yourself on the video. So, and particularly if there's something very personal in the attack, we tend to get confused by that. And the question will be about something business, but then they'll stick in something personal to make it painful for you. So ignore the personal bit and try and get to the key business part of the question and answer that. Because if they say, well, I think you're totally pathetic and stupid, nobody in the audience is going to think that's fair. And you're going to say, well, I'm not pathetic. I'm not stupid. Don't go down there. Ignore that. Go and answer the key question. Then you will not look pathetic or stupid. What did you see?
More energy is needed.
A little bit more authority, right? A little more energy and more confidence when you answer. Yes. That'll help you to be more credible. Yeah. When you're getting to, if it's a hostile attack, trust me, they're not interested in the answer to the real question. They're just trying to make you look bad. So don't feel any obligation to give them a really difficult, long answer. You get a reasonable question that is actually asking for clarification, that's fine. But when it's a hostile question, they're not looking for clarification, they're trying to embarrass you. So you give them the minimum possible answer, ignore them, answer to everybody, and move on. What did you say?
Well, I was definitely.
And that's why it's so important when you watch each other, because then, when you're down here, there's no pressure. You're cool, calm, collected, logical thoughts, watching some other poor guy or gal up here getting meltdown, right? That's easy. That's why it's great to be where you are and watch each other. Then you learn. You see, oh yeah, I see that. Oh yeah, I see that. Don't go there. Oh, I see that. Oh, that cushion. I need to remember that one. That's a good one, right? What did you say? Humour is an escape mechanism. It's a diversion from the real problem or the real question. This gives you the skill to deal with it head on. Once you learn how to do this, they hit you with a question, you just hit it with the cushion, give them the answer, 2 positive messages, next question, they're ignored. So you don't have to only humour as your mechanism. You've now got a number of mechanisms. So you expand your range of possibilities. Yeah.
What if you're not in a presentation room? What if you're sitting on a boardroom table and there's not a next question? So you would say, how would you, instead of saying next question, how would you complete that?
I would just say, give your answer and then shut up. Because don't put the pressure on yourself. Put the pressure back on them. They've given you a question. You've answered it. Silence. Then it's up to them. And if it's a personal attack and you've answered it and they come back again, man, their credibility is in a downslide very quickly, going downhill fast, very fast.